Welcome back, guys. We're here at the tie score of 1-1 for Hanwha versus APK. It's me, Valdez, with LS. And, well, the games haven't been the highest quality League of Legends we've ever had. Teams are fighting back and forth, and Hanwha actually looked like they showed up today, which is good. They were sleeping in Game 1. I know it's a little bit early here in Korea. We started at 2 p.m., which is way before most pro gamers wake up, so...
that is not true.
Yeah, I know. Just a little bit too early for everybody to come down, and maybe they were sleeping, and that did lead to the loss. But either way, they looked much better in Game 2, and I'm expecting them to take Game 3 because of APK's apparent team fighting challenges that they've been facing so far.
The thing is that in game number 3, Hanwha Life, the bot lane is all that we really have to pay attention to. Do they get ganked and set behind it? Because that is the only way that Trigger, who has been triggering me throughout the 2 games so far, is probably going to be able to get away with not getting semi-flame horizon. And that really is going to be Hanwha Life's way to victory, potentially, is just by doing target bans directed not necessarily at the meta. I don't think that they need to do that against APK, who look to really just be floundering around when it comes to team fighting capabilities. As Alawi in the window, Aatrox in the door.
Skarner on the turn.
Skarner, you know what? No, we gotta come up with better names. It's the window because it's the first thing that you can see. You can't see through the door until it's open.
Shouldn't the door be when the whole ban pick is done?
Nope.
The door's open now.
Alright, you know what? Akali going to be banned away by APK. We'll see if they actually continue to ban the LeBlanc or if they're only concerned with that as a counter pick. But the weird thing is that if you're banning LeBlanc as a counter pick, it means that you're choosing, or you're intending to choose a mid laner that LeBlanc would be good against, which in and of itself is a very weird way to approach draft. So, Gragas now. This is the kind of target that I just mentioned. Just take away potentially comfortable things from APK. You don't have to worry about the Kiana after Cover's performance.
Absolutely. And keep in mind also this Olaf ban. You don't see that all the time, but Bono is a big Olaf player. And they are going to take that one away. It does leave stuff open. The Yuumi once again available. I was kind of surprised that Skarner never got picked by Kakao because he was 4-0 on Skarner in the playoffs of Challengers. But this time he's not going to get a chance because they took it away from him and then first pick Renekton.
Elise now being hovered, perhaps as a means to prevent the Renekton Elise from being picked up by Hanwha Life. See what they're going to accompany that with. Ixu does not strike me as a Jace player. And so I'm not assuming to see Elise Jace go up against the Renekton, perhaps up in top lane. And Jace is a player I would not expect either team to really pick up. He's one of those champions that you really have to have a proficiency on. Xayah picked up by APK, so there's Lucian for Songyun.
Lucian is back. Remember, this was the same response to Xayah Rakan that Songyun did make in game number 1. The question is, do they pick their support here or just pick up that LeBlanc that was available for the first time here in game 3?
Now, APK, there's a lot of LeBlanc counters that can exist. The problem is just outright picking something like Kassadin isn't necessarily super easy because we've seen that teams in recent weeks or, well, last split or so have been totally fine swapping around, and LeBlanc can definitely go top lane. So you better make sure that you have both areas covered before you choose a straight-up hard counter inside of the lane.
Karma got picked up here. I wouldn't be surprised if after game 2, Cover's just on cover duty.
Yeah, he's trying to cover his teammates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just sit there and don't die, please.
Yeah.
Put a shield on us, and we'll do the rest.
Jarvan now banned away by APK. They're just trying to remove aggressive types of junglers. Maybe we'll even see Lee Sin taken away. Does look like they're just trying to restrict early game power, and Olaf has already been banned.
Speaking of which, they ban away the Lee Sin and the Thresh on the other side. Always got to remember with Karma that one of the good things about her is that she can be triple flexed or quadruple flexed, but obviously with Xayah in the game, it's pretty obvious that she's not going into the AD carry role. So APK will have some ability to pick Poppy. Okay.
Now, I don't know if this is going to be Poppy top or if it'll be Poppy support. But Poppy is pretty good against some of the champions already on Hanwha. I think Poppy's sleeper, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
Really?
Poppy jungle.
Well, Ixu's also been sleeping on it because he hasn't played a single game of it in this season.
I'm really not sure why they would just continue on with the aggression and pick up the Xin Zhao, because now they're playing into APK's hands and they're actually allowing the team composition to recalibrate. If Tank Elise still existed in any form or off tank, now would be the time to just be like, okay, I guess that's what I'm going to do, because the enemy team basically just told me that they can't go beyond 3 items. And so as long as we defend and don't bleed the game out by 25 minutes, it becomes impossible for us not to just attack move through them due to their excellent drafting ability by walking straight into the Karma Poppy. Truly spectacular.
Hey, it takes skill, right?
It does. As Alistar now being hovered in response to the Pike being picked up. Hanwha Life are fully all in. This is an all in pre-flop, Valdez. We don't normally
get
to
the flop
see
already.
We did
yeah, the third ban. Yeah, that was. Oh,
this
no,
is
the
very
first ban.
Kingzone-esque. Or actually, no, I'll do you one better. Sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like Sandbox. They're going to get in your face and say, play with us or don't play at all. But
well, APK, all they have to do is just hold on. That's the entire objective for them right now. The plane's taken off. All they have to do is manage to weather the turbulence. And then they'll face Jinair tomorrow. That's the... Because Jinair's going to win later on today. I just spoiled that for you. But I really, really hate team compositions like this. Let's take a look at it. Lucian Pike, LeBlanc, Xin Zhao, and Renekton. Full-on aggression. This is like in one of those movies where you see a reactor's about to like start and go off or something and it just fizzles.
Yeah.
That's what can potentially happen here. Or it goes off and there's a big explosion. So, very volatile type of team composition. And really the onus is on APK to botch this, because in Season 9, with all the early vision and the way that lanes can be played around and whatnot, it's very easy for the Poppy, Elise, Karma, Xayah, and Alistar to do just that, hang on to 3 items, and the game just becomes so much easier.
Well, they've struggled with stuff like that before. Let's see if they can make it happen here going into game number 3. The APK fans, not sure if you guys on the stream heard them, as there are not many here to support them, but if they do make it into the LCK, no doubt they will gain fans quickly, as has happened to all the other teams that have qualified into the LCK from challengers. And this is really the big moment for everybody on a challenger team. You don't want to be stuck in challengers where there's few viewers,
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
even less money. You know, you have lower salaries. You're just, you know, everything's worse down in Challenger, basically. Sometimes the players can be better, such as Griffin, Down1, Sandbox, and they eventually do make it up where they deserve and belong to be. But that's what APK is trying to prove to us right now, that they belong here. Game number 2 did not tell me that at all. Game number 1, I was like, interesting, okay. But it did also feel kind of like Hanwha Life dropping the ball. So this is what I want from game number 3. I want APK to come in here and actually prove that they deserve to make it. Otherwise, I won't be looking for their names tomorrow in the winners or losers match.
Oh, I really like what Hanwha at least were attempting to do right here, but it is spotted out. And Bono now going to share some of the XP. So, rather than just be an entire negative Nancy, or negative Nick, if that's what, you know,
yeah.
Look at that. Look at how that works.
Yeah.
I will say that Hanwha Life, they do team fight better than APK. They do have the better bot lane and seemingly better mid laner. And so, there is an argument where picking a team composition like this in this kind of a dynamic, okay, well, it's not super terrible. Normally, if you're considerably better than your opposition, team comps like this are really a way that you can draft inside of a best of 3 or a best of 5 to try to set some pacing or tempo inside of it. Now in match point, maybe APK is a little bit more nervous. They're more prone to make mistakes or something. Perhaps that could be the thought process. But traditionally, if teams are of even footing or even skill, this type of draft out of Hanwha is going to be extremely volatile.
Absolutely. We saw on the side of Hanwha Life that there's actually not a lot of games on the champions that they're playing, but we actually have 2 first picks here from Summer for APK, the Poppy and the Karma here in the mid lane. So new stuff working out for them, and we talked about how we really just have to look at the bottom lane. The draft changed things a little bit because of the waiting game you talked about for APK, but that does factor into the bottom lane as well. They can't just get dumpstered down here, right? It has to be a little bit close. You know, if they get behind a little bit and then it gets to the late game and they can come back with their comp, that's okay. But if they're losing every trade and, you know, we almost have another Flame Horizon and no ganks happen in the bottom lane, that's not really okay. Then you do stand to lose in a big way, as already 3 items have been taken here by the Klepto in the mid lane. Cacao is going to be spotted on this ward.
Remember, the Elise, she's under no obligation to do anything, so I actually don't like that Cacao didn't just elect into constantly playing defensive, doing match and counter ganks instead. Looking for a very wonky kind of play here.
This is not one you see every day.
Oh,
as the Cocoon is going to go wide. Nice dodge by Bono, who's trying to turn it around and bait him into the block as he has to flash away. But so does Cacao. Hook comes in, but there's no follow-up damage, and in goes APK! They're gonna pick up that first kill in the enemy jungle as the aggressive move actually works out.
It ended up working out, and it should have been even better had Cacao landed the Cocoon.
Yeah.
So, the fact that Hanwha Life were handshaking the whole event, despite Cacao did make it out, or Bono did make it out, is very surprising. And now coming back down here into bottom lane, Sugar and Secret actually had a wave coming into them that they could have frozen with Elise in close proximity on the bottom side and Songyun missing 60% of his mana, but instead choose to be very generous and just reset the wave for Songyun and Ki. It would be absolutely disastrous to freeze in front of the turret and zone the Lucian out of XP and minion gold. Yeah.
I mean, you would only do that if you want to.
If you want to win.
If you consider winning, like, your objective. But not every team is. Everybody's got different interests. LS, don't just judge them straight out. Spano's coming in for an interesting gank. I don't know if he was spotted actually, but Cover is gonna read into this and well, gets hit by that chain, and you know what comes next. Nice little cocoon, but Electrocute proc is going to be enough as Key is continuing on the chase here with this Predator, but it does not work out as the Elise will get to safety.
Cover has teleport, so it's not going to be the end of the world for him in this particular instance. As Ixu is only down 3 CS in the Poppy Renekton matchup. He's doing just fine right now. Tempt out of teleport, and so I'm really curious why he didn't attempt to follow, or why Cover didn't attempt to follow Tempt. And even if the argument is that, well, what if he and Bono are just looming somewhere around? Well, now you have a bigger problem as to why is the jungle mid dynamic duo from Cover and Kakao not recognizing, hey, Tempt needs to recall, he doesn't have teleport, he's out of mana. Can we lock him in the lane here so I can get a couple 100 gold advantage and some XP? As we jump into a replay from moments ago, Kakao missed the cocoon, but Bono was really playing with fire. Tempt stays here, lands the chain, and then he alone was not able to do anything. Songyun even got pulled over during this whole ordeal. Right here, Tempt expends his flash. Cover, nothing really he could do in mid. He needed to crash that wave in, but required him to be overextended. But overall, the lane management by both teams in this game has been pretty poor, with top lane being on an island.
Yeah, they've just been hanging out there up in the top side. Kakao not really coming bottom side to help out at all. By the way, he just ran by Gilbert the Ward in the enemy jungle. That did not get, or rather in his jungle. Enemy jungle for Gilbert, of course, who is still alive there and well in the bush, so Kakao did not clear that control ward out. Just going to give a nice amount of vision and say that Elise is down in the bottom side. And so you can play a bit more carefully, or perhaps get some vision down.
Some trades happening up here in top lane between Ixu and Sohwan. Just basically playing ping pong back and forth. Sunfire Cape going to be the first item.
Cover is going to get hooked up, but the slow comes in. Kakao thinking about it, but Mono is nearby. They decide to play defensively, which ends up being the right choice in the end.
That's all that they need to do right now. If you are APK, just sit back,
just don't die.
Defensive control wards on your side of the river that spots out the Xin Zhao or the Pike if they ever attempt to roam or do anything. Oh man.
3-on-1 up here in the top side, stunned forever as Sohwan took a one-way trip into the river. That's not a road he wanted to go down, never again, he'll say. As, well, when you get at least Alistair and Poppy against a wall, you're not going to have a fun time. Doesn't mean with Alistair gone that Hanwha Life can push down on the bottom side, but did they overpush as Ixu's coming in for a gank, pushing Key back? Do they have the damage? Key doesn't have his dash, and he will go down. Even if he did have his dash, the Poppy was there and was able to shut that possibility down. So another win goes the way of APK.
And, I mean, here's what's going on, too. The best lane for Hanwha Life, Songyun and Key, they're having these curveballs thrown their way. Look at Trigger. He's down in the CS department, was even down in lane phase control. We saw Secret and Trigger botch the lane manipulation that was so freely given to them just moments prior. And so, completely different caliber of bot lanes, but it just doesn't matter right now as Trigger, just like in game number 1, he's getting these edges so that he can go toe-to-toe with Songyun down there in the bot lane. And the team compositions being the way that they are, the onus was on Hanwha Life to make things happen, and that was why I criticized so heavily the Xin Zhao pick when they did lock it in into Poppy. That should have been dissuading this type of play, and now here we find ourselves in 10.5 minutes. They're only down 400 gold, but there's a lot of other problems that aren't just currently
nice stun against the wall. Ixu First time on Poppy here in summer, but this guy knows how to play that champion. He is a presence all over the map as well. And the Xin Zhao, you were talking about it into the composition, but especially now getting shut down in his own jungle and at the Rift Herald, this time dying, is going to be pretty much a non-factor against Kakao, who is once again 2-0-1.
More and more edges just going APK's way. 2.5 minutes, or just under 3 minutes, I'm sorry, until Mountain Dragon ends up coming up. As Secret going to not attempt to do anything there to Songyun.
Actually, the ability from the W from Lucian, stopping the Moby Boots from getting Secret the speed he needs to close the distance, as Bono really trying to make this happen here. Featherstorm going to be used and heal, but can he flash away from this one? The answer will be yes. Secret still with his flash and his ultimate available. Will be totally fine to get out of that one, but the gank does blow everything away from Trigger in the bot lane.
Hanwha Life now moving Tempt and Bono into the blue side jungle. They're looking keen on trying to steal away the blue buff at least. They do have CS advantages in every single lane. So that is one of their saving graces. It's also why the gold score at the top is still as close as it is. As we take a look at this replay from one of the weirdest angles. What?
Yeah.
Cocoon landing very simply. Well,
Rift
APK now,
Heralds.
yeah, they're gonna give all their gold. Now, I actually would like the gold thrown more into Poppy here, just because she's such an integral piece to the team composition, given that she shuts down everyone.
Literally.
And if she's tanky enough, she can go 1 versus 2 in a lot of situations and basically be the unkillable wall, but instead, they're allocating gold into their AD carry, who has already shown that in several games in the series so far that not the most well usage of the gold.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't look up to par with the other players on the Rift, is one way to say it. Ixu is going to flash away from that one. As the push.
Oh, so on.
Yeah, looking to continue up here on the top side. The flash on in. Secret's going for it. He's got his ultimate, and he will set up that kill. As Sohan way too far down the lane there with no inner turret, but he is going to go down. We have a Mountain Drake about to spawn here as well in 20 seconds. We'll see if APK can get back and try to secure that objective.
LeBlanc is recalling, and that's going to mean that with 5 seconds until the Mountain, maybe she has to expend her teleport. Otherwise, surely they should lose out on the vision control around right side river. Although Kakao recalling as well. Let's see what he picks up. An Oblivion Orb. And so he is dealing true damage to virtually everyone. Pike, 39 MR, 33 pen right now for Kakao. So essentially 6 magic resist for him. True damage onto Lucian for the Elise. And LeBlanc is no different. Nor is, well, Renekton's probably a little bit better. But this is quite problematic. Now, this is a byproduct of the mid-reset timing. And this is why the tempo is so important. Now, in game number 1 and 2, we saw that APK, they're weaker at teamfighting. They do take considerably longer than one would expect to find their stride inside of a team fight and close out a game. The issue here is that this is pretty Annie-level team composition in terms of Karma with her RE and Poppy just running in at the opponent. It's really simple to conduct itself, and it's pretty hard to mess up. Given that also Hanwha Life, they don't have a lot of smoke and mirrors outside of LeBlanc distortion play. They're going to be running head first into APK, making it even easier. Have you ever stood still and cast Tibbers?
Well, not really.
That's why you're in Platinum.
What?
What?
No, in Plat, we flash Tibbers and miss. Well, of course, like, oh boy, Songyun, instant cleanse. Can he get out of this one is the question, though the culling is going to come down, and now Ixu has to back away with the Pike coming on in, and he will be sacrificed to the gods there, but Pike also is going to go down as Cacao makes it there in the trade. First 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
1-for-1 benefits APK. Generally, when you're the team that scales better, any sort of trades are going to be more beneficial unless there's some other dynamic, such as like a Dark Harvest or Magi, something of that nature going over, but none of those side quests are really present inside of this game. So take a look at this. The cleanse by Songyun being used right there. Ixu just charging him down. The culling came out, did a lot of damage. Key comes over, gets the kill with the Pike, which I guess actually I wasn't mentioning. So it's not quite a 1-for-1, Valdez. You know, the
Yeah, you get some extra
it's a
gold.
3-for-1.
Good old Pirate says, well, Secret, yeah, you're dead. Just running in from the mid lane where they saw him and had vision, and where he doesn't have vision in the river. That is a move you do not want to make. Just getting caught out there. Just his first death of the game, so not the worst thing in the world.
300 gold advantage right now for APK. Another Mountain Dragon, though, coming up. And it lines up so nicely with the Baron. If they can just end up getting that, it's going to be really hard for Hanwha Life, because all of a sudden, two-manning Baron becomes a very easy possibility for APK, even though their team composition traditionally would ask for the majority of the members to be present.
Yeah, you're going to need, most of the time, the damage from Zaya and Elise, the shielding, the tankiness from the support, Poppy. But this does open up options for them, as everybody's kind of traveling around as a team right now, trying to get some really deep vision in the enemy jungle. Like all 5 members down here in the bottom side for red and blue, actually, right now. Evading it, and while the spiders are very good at protecting you from certain things like hooks, so Cacao is going to be totally fine. And now another rotation in the mid lane. They're able to get here first, and with the Karma already doing a ton of damage, looking for the... What? How did he even get locked up on that wall? Not sure how that one happened, but he still got killed, and they got the turret. And APK, they don't have to be aggressive, but the aggressive rotations into picks is working for them so far.
Well, APK now are barreling down mid. It's going to be unfathomable for Hanwha Life to beat it, because what do you do when Karma presses R and then E? That's it requires some skill right there. You're gonna need the index finger and
that's
then the
two
middle.
Letters.
That is 2 letters.
I don't know if I can handle that, you know.
Now, see, when Karma presses R and then E, Hanwha Life actually goes to the ER. That was a bad one. You like that one?
Yeah.
That was so terrible.
Earlier on, you
weren't
were
supposed to like
you were
that.
saying,
I was testing.
yeah, it was a fake laugh. Sorry.
I
know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Earlier, you were talking about an attempt on tempt, and I was like, by cover, and I'm like, you know why it didn't work? It's because he's not a tempt, which is attempt. Get it?
Oh man.
Oh, it stopped the dash, and that's why it kept him against the wall. It looked really wonky when he kind of like teleported back into the wall, but I get that.
Athene's Unholy Grail on the Karma, as well as Morella Nomicon picked up by the Elise, so... You know, do you remember those images every time you do something, like a kitten passes away or something? You remember those meme images?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring them back or something, because Morello...
Every time you build Morello.
Yeah. Oh man.
The poor Iron 4 player like goes 0 and 25.
Oh man.
Just making the rift worse for everyone.
An Iron 1 player fails their promos.
Ah, yeah. Well, we're getting the Mountain Drake fight, as you mentioned, Hanwha Life really can't afford to just let this one go. So they're doing the right thing. Nice flank here from Spirit. A ton of damage going into him, though. And he is going to get assassinated, but so will the Renekton go down. As Sangin is going to be popped out of that fight, 1-for-1 again. He does have the reset. Let's see if he can make this happen.
Karma, I'm not sure where her mantra is at right now.
Nice amount of burst damage, though, from her, as that was the clone. I believe she used the RQ that time around, and so that did mean that everybody on the side of Hanwha Life did have to back, but that shield is generally what you do want to go for. At the end of the day, though, APK still make the play work, and they pick up the second Mountain Drake of the game.
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat by so much right now. We take a look at the replay. Not the best engage. We've been criticizing APK for this throughout the series. That's 3 kills that went the way of Hanwha Life right there. And so APK, they end up actually trading down in the end. Pyke's nice champion. He's actually keeping them in this in terms of the gold.
Good old Pyke feeding his teammates.
Spirit of Sojin almost completed now on So On, as APK probably rode the best dragon of the game, given the current state.
Trying to help out cover. The damage isn't enough, and the tether goes down.
Now Poppy's going to try to chase this very large crocodile.
Poppy's fast.
She is fast.
Question is, does she have enough damage before the turret? And it is taking a long time. That Dominus really helping out. And he gets out of there with the dash.
You can just see, though, there's no real way for Renekton to do anything. And so he's been basically neutralized in the side lane now as Ixu looking to try to get this turret.
Oh,
he does get it.
The Demolish Brock was pretty nice.
I don't know, Valdez. It really is looking like APK is going to win this game. They're only going to get tankier and stronger as the game goes on. And a lot of the future items that are being picked up after Renekton completes the Spear of Sojin, it's all going to basically be luxurious. Or not luxurious, but it's not going to alter how the team is going to conduct itself. It's not going to alter how the champions approach team fights by any means. And it doesn't change like a split push dynamic. So,
well, that's probably a dead LeBlanc there. So much CC being run into that wizard as down she will go. And literally nobody can do anything to this Poppy, who has so much movement speed, unlimited armor, just runs straight into them. And the entire team of Hanwha has to run away.
Well, that's going to be Baron going over to APK. And with it, they should be able to raise inhibitor turrets for sure after the recall. Let's take a look at what items they get. Zeal now picked up. A lot of control wards as well. Karma just going to get more obnoxious in the future as Poppy, I mentioned this in the draft, she shuts down so many components of the Hanwha Life team composition.
Yeah.
And they're all just running for the hills.
All 5 champions on the side of Hanwha have a dash, and you have a Poppy. I feel like, you know, I was
Poppy's
mentioning...
sleeper.
Poppy's really good.
Poppy is insane. 80
Especially
support and jungle.
80.
Or not 80, I'm sorry. Top support and jungle.
Okay.
80 Poppy in the jungle.
Yeah. So she is going to survive there even without the flash, because her one ability shuts down everybody on the enemy team. You know, Ixu has not played Poppy at all this entire summer. Just never thought it was a reason to do it. But he saw the first 3 picks, which were Renekton, Luce, and LeBlanc, and he's like, well, you know what's perfect against this Poppy? And then Hanwha Life, the absolute 5 heads, picked Xin Zhao and Pyke.
Yeah, that's definitely, we're going to need some, that is definitely 5-head.
Yeah.
If there's any truers.
I mean, that makes me literally forehead laugh, right? Speaking of heads. And it just feels like APK won in the draft, as you were talking about. And that's been a sticking point for Hanwha Life. They've been struggling with it in the LCK. And now again, they're going to go down as down will go the Renekton, and the rest of the team with it, as Secret is going to ult there at the end. No damage can be done to that front line. We have accelerated to the late game already because APK have Baron and they are very far ahead. They can TP now onto the minions and try to push in to end this game very early with that Baron buff that they did pick up. Tempt desperately trying to do the damage just once to clear out the wave. But he can't really do it. There's a giant Poppy in the way. The Pike's going to die, and a big engage now from Secret is going to shut this down. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our first challenger team in the winners match tomorrow as APK Prince are going to shut down Hanwha Life in 3 games.
And they found a lot of aid inside of the drafts. Because in game number 3, it was so hard to lose after the early game.
Yeah.
Because Hanwha Life, they came into that draft and they go, well, we're going to open Renekton, so it has a theme, which is aggression. It has to have some sort of early mid-game component to it. And then after APK responds with Elise Zaya, they go Lucian LeBlanc, basically cementing themselves in a full-on aggressive type of team composition. Needs to get ahead, can't go late game, can't even really go mid-game if it doesn't get some acceleration early.
Yeah, you need to win the early game.
After Poppy comes in, like you said, they just go, yeah, we're going to get Xin Zhao and Pyke in here because we're not all in enough. It was the most mono-red team composition I've seen in LCK. It's the worst draft I've seen in 2019.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Giving it the title.
It's official. We have figured it out. We found the worst draft. And throw this pick ban sheet in the garbage because that's kind of where that one belonged. And Hanwha Life, like even in the bottom lane, Songyun and he once again were winning to start it off, but a couple of things went wrong. Like Hanwha Life as individual players looks like the better team.
Yeah.
They were in the LCK, but the draft just after 15 minutes where they didn't get a lead, it was just so obvious that they were screwed.
This is a really big problem. I said it last time I was on the cast, but it's probably going to be one of the very important things here in the promotion tournament as well. Teams of similar skill, the drafts are so important. Any time you can recalibrate your draft to get a slight leg up in terms of the scaling dynamic, you should always look to capitalize on it because the pressure or the making it so that it's necessary to get advantages so that you need to do it is so bizarre given how the early games and mid games can play out and with early game vision and the overall growth of pro play over the years. So here we went to 3 games and we outlined what the drafts could do at every stage of it, and while there's chances for Hanwha Life to get edges in this game number 3 through the Xin Zhao, it didn't happen, and now it feels bad.
Yeah, I think it came down to the fact that one team has a player with a ponytail and the other team did not.
Oh, is that it?
So the ponytail buff ended up being the thing that pushed them over the edge and had them win the game. This again says, APK, I love you. This is now the start. And, well, seems like it is, as APK, against my prediction, end up taking a 2-1 victory over Hanwha. I guess I cursed them to have terrible drafts. The play in Game 1 was sleepy. It wasn't that great. Game 2, they came back, and I was like, oh, okay, things are going as expected. And then Game 3, it's like, they're just left helpless, like drowning in the ocean. You know, what are you going to do when you get behind with that draft?
And you know, what I really liked, though, is that we did get to see challengers still sort of be challengers. And that we got to see new picks. We got to see Alawi come out.
Yeah.
We saw the Poppy, which isn't necessarily new. There are some Poppy picks that happen, and
don't
she
see
is
that
popping.
much Rumble.
We don't see that much Rumble, and it's really nice to see an LCK team get smacked with their absolutely ancient meta. And so even here in the highlights, Bono, he should have died here every day of the week. And then Hanwha Life, still thinking that it was an okay play. They were so far behind on the jump to this play.
Wasn't even there.
Songyun wasn't even there. Not much could happen. Now, right here, they kill Karma, but Karma has teleport. in this play. So even though they kill her, Karma almost pushed in the whole wave, not really getting zoned out of any minions. Just going to come right back into the lane. Ixu teleports in this play, and it's just really hard. It's so hard to play out Hanwha Life's team comp. God, I keep harping on about it. I'm never gonna give you up, Valdez. I'm never gonna let you down.
Thank you. Yeah. You wouldn't want to run around and hurt me, right?
Yeah, I would not want to do that. Yeah,
right?
I would never do that.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to cover all my bases. But yeah, I mean, it was, as you said, as you coined it, the worst draft of 2019 here in Korea. So it deserves to be harped on about, you know? When something amazingly great happens, everybody talks about it for a long time. But when something amazingly awful and just horrible, like horrid, you know, happens, people also talk about it for a long time. So I'm sure we will as well. But yeah, I mean, Ixu just ended up being the key. He controlled this game. If I had to give the MVP to one guy, it would be him. For saying, hey, pick me Poppy, and then also, hey, I'm gonna go even in the top lane against Renekton, I'll neutralize him. Then I'm gonna teleport to the bot lane that's having trouble, and I'm gonna shut him down. And then I'm going to engage like a god every single team fight and never die. The guy was just controlling it from minute one, from the pick into his actual play. So shout out to Ixu. He started out as Ixu, went to Bitcoin trading, went to Ursu, and now he's back as Ixu, which I think is the best version of him. You can see that they are talking a lot. So the communication issues we were thinking about, maybe it's a factor of too much talking, something like that. Notice how it's Ixu talking the most. Definitely one of our older players. Well done, guys. And yeah, and Ixu kept on saying he can consistently block LeBlanc, and look at that alpha bar from the Poppy.
Anyone's
this
watching
game was all about the Poppy.
Poppy is a great champion right now, able to be played in 3 different roles, as I already mentioned: top, jungle, and support.
We always talk about flex power.
Yeah, and that's another great thing about her, is her flex power.
Exactly.
Some champions are made more powerful due to their ability to be flexed, and thus alter some of the draft states.
Aatrox, Karma, you know, even Renekton now. We talked about this in Game 1. We've got it figured out.
AD Poppy jungle. You need to get on that.
AD Poppy?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you don't just go tank, you actually like you become
AD Poppy.
You become like a quality ganker,
Trinity,
I suppose.
Yeah, Trinity Force Yumus.
Oh, that sounds pleasant. Might see that in solo queue later, but wow, okay, APK. So for you guys who are here and you're like, what the hell is going on? Why is LCK on a Monday? You know, what are they doing? We are doing the promotion tournaments for 2 teams from Challengers and 2 teams from LCK to decide who is going to take the 2 slots at the bottom of the LCK. Today we're playing 2 best-of-3s. Whoever wins that best-of-3 goes on to the winners match tomorrow, which is a best-of-5. And whoever loses goes on to the losers best-of-5 tomorrow. The winner of the winners best-of-5 goes up to LCK, secures a spot. Loser goes back down to Challenger, and then we have a final day where there's 1 best-of-5 to decide the second team in the LCK between the 2 teams that are left over. So we're not done today. We have 1 more best-of-3. It is going to be Jin Air up against Team Dynamics, and that is going to be a fun one, so you don't want to miss that.
When is the last time you saw Jin Air?
Well, I mean, they've won games.
No. Win a series.
Win a series? I guess it was last promotion tournament. It actually was, because they went 0-18, so.
It's time for history to repeat itself.
You think so?
I think so.
You think that the series win is going to happen again?
I think today's the day Jin Air's flies.
You think this is their lucky tournament, the promotion tournament?
Yeah.
Maybe this is where they stay, just live in the promotion
They're
tournament.
the gatekeepers.
Yeah, they are. They actually are at the end of the day. They were in spring. We'll see if they can be in summer. No interviews today, guys. We're just going to go straight to a break and then on to the next one, which should start in about a half hour. So set your timer. We'll be back then.
You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, all with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together you taught me